Okay, so if you come to the previous example, we have a variable called x and the value is 1. There's another thing called data type. Someone asks you what is the data type of this x? It is an int. In Python, we call it int. Actually, this means an integer. This is actually an integer. Okay, so the data type of this x is an integer. There are lots of data types you need to know. These are the basic data types in Python. There are more data types, but I'm only going to explain you the basics. First one is str. Str means string. When you want to declare a word or a phrase, you can use this data type. It is simple. Assign a word hello into x. So this hello is a string. So you can see I have used double quotes. So that means it is a string. So you can also use single quotes as well. So that is a string. Now let's go to the next one. It is an int. Int means integer. So that is used to declare numbers when you want to perform calculations. So I'll just declare an integer y equals 1. So you have 1 here. So now we have to note one part, that you can also declare a string like this. See, like this. So this is also a string, but not an integer, because when you use this double quotes, it will consider this as a string. So you cannot perform mathematical functions. You can't add another number 3 with this. If you try to add 3 with this x, it will give an error because this is a string, that is an int. So it is a totally different section. I'll tell you about that later. But remember, this is a string, not an integer. So this is different from this one. So float means basically the same word we use. Float is used to declare a number with decimal places. For example, 2.5. So this is not a whole number. This is not an integer. So we use this data type. List means basically a very important topic. I'm going to show you how this list data structure works. I'll first directly show you how we declare a list, and then I'll explain you how it works. And I'm going to assign values in it. So this list has some values, integer, and this is a float. These two are string. To make it simple, just imagine this as you have some box. As we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values, 5 boxes. So this is a whole set of boxes. This whole set is named x. You are going to name these boxes. This is box number 0, box number 1, box number 2, likewise. Number 1, we are going to put this number 1 into this box, 4 into this box, 3.5 into this box. Say you want to access this 3.5. You can call the box name and access the value. In this list x, 3.5 is in box number 2. So I'm going to say 2. So this will return 3.5. In the list x, I'm asking the value in box number 2. So in value in box number 2, it is 3.5. So it returns 3.5. This is how we access the values from a list. When you see a list in a question, it is better to separate this as values, and you can just simply note down the names. These names are called index, and these are the values. So say now you want to change the value 3 to world. So you know basically how to access this position, that the index of 1 is 0, index of this is 1. Now you can access this 3 by x, and the index is 1. You have accessed this position, world. So after this statement, the value of 1 will have world. So you can write it again how the new list will look like. Only this 3 will get changed to world after this statement. It starts with this parenthesis. This is an example for tuple. The difference between list and tuple is you cannot change a value in a tuple. So that means 0, 1, 2, 3. In the third index we have 2.5. If you want to change it to high or something, it will give an error. You cannot modify a tuple. So but you can access the value. So if you want to print x2, that means x, this is 0, 1, 2. So in the second index we have high, so it will return a high. That is basically a tuple. Set means it starts with this curly braces and you can have anything in it, but when you have two same values, it will take both values as one value. So you are running this statement, okay, and now you are going to print x. You print x, it will give you a set with values 1, 2, 3 and a high. There will be only 4 values. So when you repeat the same values, it will count that as one value. That is a special thing in a set. Okay, here I have a list. I'm going to write the same thing as a dictionary. In a dictionary, we have to use the curly braces, just like sets. Make it clear, you can write it like this. So these are the index of each value. The same thing. I'm going to show the index now and a colon, give the value here, and a comma. To make it more clear, I'm going to write it in the next line and the value in it. Now I'm going to close the brackets. So this is a dictionary. So we have the index here and the values here. In dictionary, the indexes are called keys and these values are called values. What is the big difference between list and dictionary? The difference is you can have own created names, created indexes. That means keys for your dictionary. I have written the same dictionary but with different keys. That's why I told you, you can create your own keys and declare a dictionary. So after you declare a dictionary, if you want to access the values, so in a list, how do you access a value? You just say x and the position, that means the index, so 2. So it will return hello, right? The dictionary, the same way. Access this hello from this dictionary, so I can write the same way. But inside the bracket, we give the index there. Here we have to tell the key's name. So the key is x, which is a string x. So if I print this, it will return hello or 4. So it will search where the 4 is. Okay, so here's the 4 and the value is 2.5. So it will return 2.5. So say I have another value here, okay, something like this, and I have a value here 45, and I'm going to close it. So this is the whole dictionary. There are two ones now, but this is a string and this is an integer. That makes a difference. If you access x1, it will return 2, but if you access x1, it will return 45. This one has 2, this one has 45. So this is a string and this is an int. Okay, the last one is Boolean. So Boolean means there are only two possible values, is true or false. And this is how we assign a Boolean value into a variable. So x equals 2, that means true is assigned to x.